just throw that out there. Okay, so I just want to go over quickly the implementation. So we've talked about this a couple of times, and as an overview from this training, we would like for you guys to implement any lab of your choice, and you can modify it, adapt it to your needs, and we will make sure that we get you all the supplies to do that. And one change we made from last year based on heavy feedback was that if you teach more than one section of a course, to be able to get enough supplies to teach all the sections. So if you're teaching 3 bios and you want to implement in your bio class, we'll give you enough for all 3 classes. So I'm going to pull up that sheet, but the planning page is stored in the Google Docs. Are you seeing the planning page? Yes. Okay, cool. All right. So it's very simple to fill out, and it's just meant to help you get your thoughts together about what you'll need, what you have, and prepare whatever lab protocol you want. If you want a little worksheet or something, we're building in that time today to do that. So on the top, you're just filling out your own name and email, the school you teach at, and that address, which we're assuming this is where we'll ship any supplies to. The phone cell's usually the best, just so there's a direct contact. And then your master instructor is your cohort. So just your master instructor is fine. So you're going to choose one of the labs from this training, and then give an estimate of when you might implement the lab. So if you think you're going to implement it early fall, that's fine. Sometime in September is fine, late October. And just kind of an estimate so that we can judge when we need to send out the stuff. So the consumables is not a big deal, but if there's equipment that's larger that we need to send out for borrowing, that's when the scheduling gets a little bit more tricky. Prep time required, that's again to help you think through this. So is there anything you need to do ahead of time before your students come to class? Hopefully, if there's any solutions or dilutions, hopefully that's built into what they're going to do, and they're going to do those solution formulas and then try it and hopefully do it right. And if not, no big deal. But any sort of prep time that you want to build in. Maybe you're going to do this over a series of a few labs. You know, if you have a 15-minute class period, maybe that's all about just making, diluting food coloring and then building up to pipetting or chromatography or whatever. So it can go over several class periods or one, whatever you determine. Then this one, thinking about through all the supplies that you're going to need for this, and a barrier might be if you need a microwave and you don't have a microwave, or hot plates aren't allowed, or whatever, or you don't have something. So any solutions? So just thinking through this process, and what do you need from the Georgia Bioed Institute? And guys, don't be shy. We've put aside money from this to get you these supplies. So if you already have, I don't know, chromatography paper, put it down anyway and get some extra chromatography paper for this lab and build up your supply. We want to get you what we can for this, even if it's a little extra. Plan for getting help if you need it. So some of you guys are here with colleagues. Some of you aren't. We'll leave the group meet up and you can exit it if you want to, but nobody, this group hasn't used it a ton, so I don't think you're going to be getting dings, you know, at midnight for the next several months or anything, but it's a great way to just shoot out a question and say, hey, what's an alternative for food coloring, or can I use gel? Answers no. Whatever your questions are, you can get quick little answers from that. And then of course, our staff is available and our master instructors are, and email's great. And then if you're coordinating with anyone else, either at your school or within this training, just to let us know so that, again, for shipping reasons, we know that. Once you complete this, you're going to do a little reflection on that. The reflection report is 1 page, and it has some questions to just add to guide your reflection on there. And if you're going to implement this in April or May this year, it's definitely got to be a little video snippet of what you're doing. If you're implementing in the fall, then we might be able to get out there and observe, which we'd love to come in live to the classrooms. You do not need a video the whole thing. Ideally, it's a portion of your demonstration, and it's great if we can get some of the work the kids are doing, but that's not always easy to do. And then down at the bottom is helpful to us for planning supplies. So whatever course you're doing, so let's say it's bio and you teach first period, second period, and fifth period. And in first period, you have 20 students, second period, you have 25, and third, you have 30. You're just going to write that out so we can make sure that we think we're giving enough supplies as well. If we have any questions, and when I say we, Megan does all the supplying, she'll email you for clarification, but hopefully we can get through this, and this should be simple enough to answer. So any questions on this?
Kristen, when we get our stuff, do we, like, is it in the box what we need to send back versus what we can keep?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and most of the stuff, I think, from these labs, because we were doing the less expensive versions, you're going to keep. If you wanted to use the actual gel electrophoresis equipment, like you're feeling confident and you want to do that, or maybe you want to teach it and your kids are going to use the DIY boxes, but then you want to demonstrate it on the real equipment, that would be something you'd borrow, but you'll get a packing slip with stuff to keep and stuff to return. Okay. And and a return slip as well. So you don't have to pay to return it. You just have to drop it back off at UPS.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Is there a specific date that you would like this by? I know that I'm currently waiting to know if I'm going to be a different teacher next year. But right now I'm in grade physical science. Next year I'm trying for a 10th grade biology position. But either way, I know that my schedule is going to be changing, so I don't know student numbers, and I don't really know, well, a lot of anything really, unfortunately. How would I fill this out?
Okay, so first I should have covered this. It is somewhere. I think it's in your agreement that we would like this implemented by October 31st. So that gives you like pretty much 2/3 of the beginning of the school year, first semester. But you can implement it anytime between now and then. So it could be this semester. If you teach summer school, you can do it in summer school, or you can do it in the fall when you come back. Gosh, for your situation, if you think you might implement it this year, and sometimes you have that little period of time when all of your assessments are done and kids are still in school and you can actually do like really meaningful, fun stuff. You could do that. You can implement then, and then it's kind of, you have a little bit more control over knowing what course you're teaching. But otherwise, you said you're going for biology?
I'm trying. It's obviously not a guarantee, but I'm trying to get a school position.
So, well, first of all, good luck. I hope you get it. Any of these are applicable. I don't know the sequence of biology though. So if someone on here can speak up and talk about beginning of the year bio concepts and what you think might fit in, you could kind of plan for that.
Well, for beginning of the year, you could turn it into some kind of CER diagram, like the DNA extraction. You could do something like, do all cells have DNA? Do all plants have DNA? And get kids to do some research about which ones would be best, and then do the activity and then have them support their claims. Like that would be, it's relatively simple, relatively foolproof, but the kids would really like it. And then, you get science process in there right at the beginning of the year.
That sounds pretty good to me.
And I don't know what the experience is with using pipetters, but if there's not a lot of that at your school, that's a great one to start with as well in any course, unless they're used to it. If you don't have numbers for next year, take an average or go with the higher end that you think you might have. If you have some sort of typical number or average number like 35, 37, whatever, use that and overestimate a little.
So is there a if we're doing a video, is there like a video release form or something that's needed, or just don't worry about it, just submit the video?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. We aren't showing these to anybody. They're just for our own evaluation team, and that's it. So we won't be showing these on our social media or anything like that. If you do take pictures and they don't have kids' faces in them, it's awesome to share, and our board loves to see it. And so we love to share that if we can. Videos, we would not share. All right, so I think probably we'll just go ahead and move into getting started. So this was, you have one of these in your binder. And there's also one that is accessible through Google Docs. I'm just going to make sure that you have permission to get to it or take it out. Elizabeth and I had a nice chat after last week's session where just talking about the set packs versus the gel electrophoresis DIY kit. And Elizabeth, if you don't mind just sharing that, and because I think it's just a knack you have, you're extremely talented at being resourceful and working off of a tight budget. See, Scotty Ann says, yes, you are. So if you want to share that, and I know we have a lot of physical science teachers here where chromatography and the set packs have lots of applications and they're reusable and blah, blah, blah. If you want to kind of just reiterate that conversation, that might help some of the people decide what they might be implementing.
Okay, thank you. That was very nice. I don't exactly remember all the things we talked about, but that the gel electrophoresis is fun, and there are a lot of applications with the gel electrophoresis, and the kids definitely like to do that because it's what they see on the crime scene shows. But the chromatography, if you're talking about the phospholipid bilayer in the cell, you're talking about the same thing that's going through that set pack. It is about attraction and repulsion constantly, and so you can tie it into cell and how things move. I don't think we spend enough time as teachers talking about polarity, and polarity is that subject that can cross from biology, physical science, chemistry. And when kids get a good grasp of the properties of polarity, and I mean, just water by itself, if you're just going to talk about water, that's enough. So if kids understand some really basic concepts and they understand them really, really well, they can do well on high level things later. And I do work at a rural impoverished setting, and my kids need the terminology, but they, you know, I showed you this food coloring thing. I do this, and I'll do that silly stuff with the kids. Always start as simple and as clean as I can start before we go to that crazy level. So to me, the set pack, I've had the same set packs for 7 years. I've only had one destroyed because they put molecules through that were too big, and we can't get them out. They're stuck and jammed up in there, but it's so easy to clean. $1 at the grocery store when you buy the alcohol will clean it, but the kid's responsible for cleaning it. If you want to teach math and do concentrations and dilutions, they can use set packs. There's so many things that they could run through the set packs. There's dyes everywhere. So you're just separating dyes and learning the properties, but it crosses. You've got math and you've got all kinds of applications inside the cell. If you're talking about hydrophobic and hydrophilic, it's those properties are in that set pack. You can read and read and read about set packs, but one of the things I encourage you to do is, and I'm guilty of this too, I always want to cheat and pull a video where somebody else explains what they're doing. But I encourage you to explain it. And I have funny accents that I use, and I did not talk to this, Kristen, but I say things about polar likes polar, and we say that all the time, and the kids repeat that all the time. So we learn the polarity rules very early, and the kids find applications of them. But I'm sure there's some awkward moments where we talk about attraction in my classroom, and I make it awkward on purpose. So anyway, I encourage y'all to go set packs. I love gel electrophoresis. I'm all about gel electrophoresis. We run gels all the time, but if you're teaching chemistry or physical science, or even how the cell membrane is taking things in and out, you can tie that set pack in there. Is that enough? Is that good? Okay.
Hey, Kristen, can we give Caleb a quick shout out, because he did spinach leaves, or not spinach leaves, but holly leaves or something with the chromatography too. So if you're not on the GroupMe, if you join the GroupMe, you can totally see the awesome stuff that Caleb did with plant leaves and pigment extraction using the set packs.
Yay, good job, Caleb. You made him get scared for a second. But yeah, it was great. And it was really good timing too, because right about when you posted that, Elizabeth was talking about how you can take environmental stuff. Well, specifically, she was talking about flowers and grass and so on. So that was a great post. Oh, Scotty and Wade also. So we're just gonna leave it like this. And if everybody can stay on and just start completing your implementation plans. This is not written in stone. If something changes, it's fine. It happens. So don't worry about it. Just you're trying to plan, which we've all tried to do and done over and over and over and over and over again, especially this year. That's okay. But this is to just help us try to get an idea, all of us get an idea of what you want to do and how we can get you your supplies, make sure we get them on order and sent out to you. In a few more minutes, I'm going to put in the chat a survey to complete. It'll take you around 10 minutes, just giving feedback to the program so far. And we definitely do take a look at the feedback. It does have your name on it, just so that we can identify the school that you're with. We aren't going to post these results anywhere, and we have a separate evaluation team that will be looking through these results as well. So please be candid, as candid as you want and can, because it's helpful to make this program better.
Also, we wouldn't be offended anyway. We want feedback.
Yeah, all of it.
Do you want me to share the prizes?
Yes.
Here we go. Share. All right, so I have dug around in our equipment depot and I found these fine items for you guys. So if you complete your survey before next Tuesday night, which hopefully you'll do it today and get it out of the way, we will do a drawing next Wednesday for these items. So we will let you guys pick an item in the order in which you are drawn. So the last time we did this, one of our participants, Cynthia Greer, came up like 5 times and we kept having to pick a new person. But yeah, so you have a mini centrifuge, a Bio-Rad DNA model. It makes the DNA strand up to 2 feet long, I think it said, maybe more. I can't see it in this. Some Erlenmeyer flasks. So we have an assorted variety and then a pack of 6 250 milliliters. We have some pipettes with the correct tips and then a pack of 6 graduated cylinders, just like the one that you already received. So I'll put that flyer, I think I already put it in the session 4 folder for today.
Okay, so we can definitely do a breakout room for GYSTC. I have, let me see. I'm just gonna put you guys all in the one called Peterson. Tricia won't necessarily be in there unless you want a master instructor in there. I just had named them in case you got anybody wanted to break out. But does every person want to be, all GYSTC want to go in there? Because I think I have to assign you. Okay.
I want to go in too, and then I want to leave real quick.
Okay, perfect.
All right, I'll get you in there, and I'm also popping the survey into the chat. Oops. I think I got all the GYSTC folks over there. Did I miss anyone? So just shout out any questions if you have any on anything, content or otherwise. Aw, Britton has company.
She wanted to come type on my other computer's board. So I'll just have a
Aw.
little bit of help.
I'm about to have company too.
I have company throughout the whole course of these with my cats never leaving me alone, and then she wants to visit me every once in a while.
Yeah, oh, that's cute.
I was just looking at the implementation plan. It said, what potential equipment barriers do you foresee? Does that include the equipment that I would need provided to me? Like, I was actually really thinking, we're about to move into electricity and magnetism, and gel electrophoresis is one of my favorite things we did. And I can use that for electricity very easily. So my equipment issues that I might foresee, does that include everything needed to run gel electrophoresis?
Yes,
Okay,
you want to have everything you need for that lab. So if you don't have it, you need it
yes,
from
okay.
us. Mhm.
And
And
it says, what solutions do I have? Would that be y'all providing it? Okay,
yes, yeah.
okay,
I mean, so if it was something like you need a microwave, we wouldn't be able to provide that. So you might be able to take one from the lunch area and bring it to your classroom for the day or something like that.
we have hot plates. That one's actually.
So so thinking about like, if you're gonna have your kids working in groups, and we typically recommend around 4 and not more than 4 in a group, but yeah, you have your own style for that.
Yeah, 4 sounds great. We have actual like lab tables,
Okay.
which actually the school I came from before this had like plastic rolly tables, which were all for science. But so 4 is great for this.
Yeah.
So would you just be sending him like the stock solution stuff like you did in the kit, like a couple little vials of like the 50 XTAE and things like that?
Well, it probably depends on how many sections he teaches. So 4 sections with 30 some kids in each class, or
Between 20 and 25, since we've got 5 to 8-ish digital in each of those classes as well.
Mhm.
So I have about 85 or 90 in person.
Okay. So probably a little more than was sent out for this.
Does that include batteries, or would I need to buy my own batteries?
No, it'll include batteries. That's the most expensive part.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
It's a lot of batteries. Yeah, yeah.
And one of the little stacks of 5 batteries we did, I know that y'all mentioned that it would run more than one electrophoresis. Do you think that if I had enough for, say, 6 groups per class, if that stack of 5 batteries would actually suffice for all 4 classes I teach?
I think they typically run it like 2 to 4 times, so I'd want to send you backups.
Okay.
So guys, I got my second COVID shot today and I am super tired. So I'm going to leave you guys to continue on, and then I'll get with Megan and Kristen with anything that I need.
Thanks, Stephanie. Take care and get rested.
All right, I'll see y'all later.
Bye-bye.
So I really wanted to do like they wanted us to do like a biology preview at the end of the year for my class this year. So I thought the DNA extraction would be perfect for that. Plus, for some ridiculous reason, they don't do that in high school biology. I don't know why. I think they should. But so we really can, like our county, they would just like kind of let us go to like Publix and buy things. And so the only thing I think I would need is those little tiny, I don't know what those are called, the little teeny tiny things that like have the little pop-up lid. That would be the thing that would be difficult for me to get. Everything else, I don't want to use you guys since, you know, they just will let me go buy a bunch of alcohol, like the, you know, and the meat tenderizer wouldn't be very expensive for us to do that. Or do you prefer us to use the materials from you?
We don't have a personal preference, but we have this funding that we want to spend on you guys. So, I mean, so if it's stuff, so the meat tenderizer is nice as opposed to strawberries, because that will not have to come out of your pocket or the school's pocket, and it'll already be there for you. So, and if you're going to go through, I don't know how much alcohol, you know, the only thing we won't send is gallons of distilled water. That's just not worth it. Per Elizabeth's example of buying concentrate versus watered down stuff and paying for water, the shipping is crazy. So we want to be able to purchase that for you. And one of the benefits to you and your budget is to be able to spend your school budget on something else that you might need. So even if it's, you could just buy one more pipetter because you saved, you know, $50 from this, then that's great.
Okay, cool.
It's up to you, but
what do
that's
you
my
call
say.
little tiny things?
Elizabeth?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Centrifuge tubes. Centrifuge tubes. And when I teach that to my kids, we talk about the word center in there. And they spin. That cap is on there, so they'll spin really fast and throw it down. So there's centrifuge tubes. And if Kristen, if you had those cool little things that pop the lids off, you could send her those, because the kids break nails if they don't have them. You know, we get the fancy nails done. You could put that in the kit to jazz it up. They look like little beer bottle openers.
Okay.
You need those. You need those.
So that's why they stay shut so well when you make the necklaces.
Yep. And so if you tell the kids like they've been to the fair or whatever, everything in the fair goes in a circle and it throws them to the bottom. And that's a form of chromatography because it's separation. So anytime you're separating densities and one of the things you can do, that little toy that you spin and pull and spin and pull, do you know what I'm talking about? Like you get them on, I don't know, they're paper, like Cracker Barrel things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have some in my room, but that's the same sort of thing. Perfect. Or you could borrow a centrifuge and separate out your samples, or spin down a centrifuge. If she's going to send you stuff, this is what I would do. If I was doing the DNA, I would ask Georgia Bio to send me a set of pipetters so we could pipette stuff in there, and some centrifuges so we could spin it. If they're going to let you put a ticket and send it back, I'd do that. If you want to jazz it up.
Oh yeah, always jazz it up.
Yeah, if you want to jazz it up and put some equipment in it, you could do that and then get a return ticket and drop off all that fancy equipment after you use it.
Nice. Okay, and then the last question I had was, I was planning on doing that activity like May, like mid-May. Is that too fast to get the equipment from you guys? Or okay, I didn't want to like assume.
Yeah,
okay.
No, that's fine.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And Megan had one of those microcentrifuges on her prize list. So if you guys do that survey, then you could actually win one of the centrifuges for it.
I got these off of Oriental Trading. Don't all teachers shop there?
Definitely.
And you can spin it, and you can tape this. You can tape the whatever on them. Tubes, centrifuge tubes.
Oh, so you use that for centrifuging. I thought you just meant to demonstrate the concept, but that's perfect.
Yeah, I use it. I'm telling you, when I take it down to the elementary level, I'm not kidding. And then we'll go all the way really high. But then here's your centrifuge, and it just spins around. And that's why the tubes come on. That's why they click on so tight, because they get really fast. You can talk about RPMs with this. You can talk about counterbalance with this. You can separate a whole bunch of stuff. You can go outside and get some dirt out of the ground.
And
that separate, but be careful what you're going to see.
Is that one's a Biorad, isn't it? Biorad brand?
Yes, I'm a Biorad fiend. I'm very biased to Biorad. Yes.
And their stuff's
my
great.
whole room's Biorad. My whole room.
And so Elizabeth, I'm going to put you back on the spot one more time. I know last summer, I think you tested out some Biorad curriculum and stuff. Is that right?
Oh yes. I'm a Biorad ambassador. They flew me out to California, and I'm trained on Biorad. And I was supposed to be in their book, but I walked out of the modeling session because it was so embarrassing. That camera was personal. I told them I would not do that. But here's like your little bottle openers. I am sure y'all have these.
I've never seen them, but that doesn't mean anything.
Just click them off. That way you don't break your manicure. I get these things for free. You can have some.
What's your hack for not having them?
I don't know. I've not had them. I'm sure somebody could print these. I'm not a 3D printer, but this has got to be a printer. Well, I guess you could take it to the edge of the table and smack it like a beer bottle. Okay, it's late.
DNA everywhere.
I wouldn't do it with my teeth. All right, it's like, who else wants to talk about a lab? It's bad. It's bad.
I like living on the wild side and not closing the centrifuge tubes in the centrifuge. Because the kids totally think it's going to spill out all over the place, but it doesn't, because it spins it to the end. It blows their mind.
Yeah, because it's separating the density. I've never done that before, but I'm doing that. I'll probably do it tomorrow. Because that is the lesson. Yeah. It's throwing the heavy stuff to the end of the, love it, Trisha.
Don't put the lid on.
Love it.
Wild side.
So the last thing I sent out in the chat talks about those times to share when we'll gather back like this and just take, 3, maybe 5 minutes to share your implementation experience. So they're both in the fall, and we hope that everybody can attend, but we know schedules change as well. So if you can sign up for what you plan, when you plan to share, I will send out reminders and invitations this year and then again in the fall in case emails and calendars and stuff get cleared out. But this is really helpful to share and bounce back ideas and troubleshoot. We have another one coming up from our Going Viral session. In the first session, there was just so much back and forth and professional discussion and helping each other. So even though it's one more time or 2 more times of meeting, it's pretty helpful. And these go by a little bit quicker. It's more like 45 minutes to an hour, even though it's scheduled for 2.
Okay, I have a question for Elizabeth about my lab.
I can't wait.
Okay, well, I want to do kind of like Caleb did. I've always wanted to do the chromatography with leaf pigments. So I'm 7th grade life science.
Yep.
So, and we of course do photosynthesis and chlorophyll, but then we also learn about the temperate deciduous forest quite a bit. So I thought I could put it in with that. So the set packs, I guess, are what I would use for doing that. So if I were doing it with a whole class, would I want a class set of them, like one per person? And then could I reuse those for 4 class periods? Okay, so just clean them out. So we could do all the measurement of the alcohol and, you know, calculating all that. And then we would have mortar and pestles and smush up all our leaves. And then use the set packs to do the chromatography.
Yep. I would just, I've not done a lot of chromatography with natural dyes, and I did ruin one set pack. So I would definitely off to the side do one the night before and make sure that I'm not going to ruin my set. But that's the fun about being a science teacher is sometimes we do things that we don't know the answer, and it's fun to let kids go outside and see what natural dyes. And there are some natural dyes, I'll warn you, they're called like lake dyes, I think is the name they put for them, and they're neutral, they have no charge, and they're not going to move as well. So so it's fun if something doesn't move, then they can start to figure out why it doesn't move. But there are some natural dyes that will not move through those set packs. So I would experiment with them.
Would you do only the set pack, or would you
I would ask for some chromatography.
Compare it to some paper chromatography, like next to it, and see if you get similar, similar color spectrum?
Yes, you should. You should be able to, the colors should have different properties, and they should separate just like they would on the paper. So, and try different solvents too, because alcohol is a good solvent, but fingernail polish remover, I'm sure you've done that one, works really good too. So there's all kind, and let kids decide what solvents they want to use. Water will dissolve things. So changing those variables is fun. I would definitely, whatever you want to do, I would run one through, but I think that they're so cheap. And she said they have money. I would ask for one per kid.
Okay.
And don't
that sounds good.
Keep those. They don't have to return set packs, do they?
Mm-mm.
So you get to keep them. Oh yeah. That's a good deal.
And then, so question for Kristen and or Megan, then if I were to do the chromatography with the set packs, but also the paper, is that something I would request from y'all too, even though we didn't do it in our activity, the paper?
Yeah. So we can do, so that you can kind of do a comparison of the two.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like alcohol and acetone, do y'all provide that as well? Or is that something, if not, it's okay. I just don't know, like, what is it with like transporting that kind of thing?
Yeah. I feel like we were pushing our luck the first time we shipped alcohol.
Okay. Well, that's an easy thing to get. That's not expensive either, so it's fine. But the set packs would be a hard thing for me to get. So
yeah.
Okay. Thank you all very much. I really have enjoyed this completely.
Yay. Good. I'm excited too. I see 3 people already signed up to share. All 3 different, 1 pipetting, 1 set pack chromatography, and 1 DNA extraction.
I've actually got a question that's not exactly to do with how to fill all of this out. The whole column chromatography and checking out the dyes and everything. It actually, I thought in my own head that I would really like to try it between like a red, a yellow, and a green leaf and see how the actual dyes came out. And I was curious if anybody had already done that or seen it done, because I'm fairly interested in how that would look.
I haven't done it, but I would like to do that too.
I've only done the purple Kool-Aid, the orange Kool-Aid, and the green Kool-Aid. And the yellow comes out faster of the orange. And then the red comes out. So I think out of those 3 colors, it went yellow comes out. Wait, what did I say? Yellow comes out, and then red, and then blue. Like blue is the most nonpolar. Yellow is the most polar. Is that what you were asking? But I haven't done it with leaves, so I don't know, just the Kool-Aid.
I was curious kind of about the natural way, and if you could naturally see how pigments would be different between the yellow, red, and green leaves, and if they would actually, I guess, separate out different, or whether or not it's just one pigment that's, I don't want to say dying, I'm probably saying it wrong, but one pigment that's changing, and if the size is staying the same, and if everything else is staying the same, it's just kind of losing its chlorophyll. I don't know how that would really work with everything.
I've got a couple thoughts. I've never done it before because I really was not introduced to set packs until I did biotechnology. I'd never even heard of a set pack. And by the time I was using set packs, I was out of the biology world. But a couple things, I would definitely get kids to look at the structure, like the molecular structure of the different chlorophylls and make some predictions because they will have charges on them. And it's really the set pack is going to separate things on charges too. The other thing is if you're thinking about the DNA stuff, you can put dyes in DNA as long as you weight it down. I don't think some of you weren't in my group, but I talked about you can make a natural dye with sucrose to weight your stuff down because sucrose doesn't have a charge, it's just a sugar. So you can separate dyes in gel electrophoresis too, and gel is the form of chromatography. All of this is chromatography. And then connecting back to the cell manufacturing, she was talking about separating out cells. It is all chromatography like that. That's the same. So it's important, I think, to connect those concepts that they have to pull cells out. She says separate the good from the bad and pull this out of the batch. So it's even related to what our guest speaker did. So I think anything y'all pick, you're really doing chromatography because even when you're isolating the DNA out of that wheat, you're separating out that DNA from all that other plant matter. So I think it's important just to teach your kids that chromatography is separation. And we spend so much time on the paper and the just separating out a dye or that ink, like you take a Sharpie, a black Sharpie and put it on there and it separates out in color. So we've associated chromatography with color, but we haven't really associated chromatography in my class. I try in my classroom with separation techniques. So, but I'm curious how that's going to turn out. I know I went off on a big tangent there, Britton, but I would definitely look at charges and I have not done it before and I am curious.
Mine was a tangent to begin with, so sorry.
Yeah, I think it's good. I have jammed up a set pack before with molecules, so you can jam them. And another thing to do, sometimes it says to take that syringe and push it through, and sometimes when you push it through, it's too much force and you don't see as much separation because it just kind of spits it all out. If you'll kind of let them sit there, sometimes they'll naturally drip through the set pack, a little bit of a slower process. Let the kids. And the other thing you can do, since they're so reusable, is just let kids figure out their own, like tell them it's going to separate stuff. And let them figure out how to separate it using the solvents and do different solvents. Sorry.
T-shirts will be sent with your stuff. So we have not ordered them yet. So if you're teaching really early, yes, for Elizabeth and Trisha too. I know you were left out last year, so I'm sorry. But yeah, so they haven't been ordered yet. So if you're teaching something in April, we'll have to send your shirt later, but they will be coming. Lee, I'll send you that invite for GroupMe.
I have a question. And you may have already, I'm sorry if you already answered this. When we have finished with this implementation plan, do I upload it to that folder or send it directly to you?
You're going to send it right to Megan or me, our email. We were going to have you upload it, but decided against that. So I really ought to delete that folder.
Okay.
Thank you for asking that. So I sent in the chat just a quick reminder, the link to sign up for sharing and a link to the survey.
Kristen, I think not everybody got the sharing link because I did not. I think it was when I was moving over, so it just didn't pop up.
Didn't think about that. Okay. Just a sec.
I had another question for went with Britton. Do you have a spectrophotometer? Is that something y'all can loan out? Is that something y'all have in the equipment depot? Is these spectrophotometers?
I have some old ones that I don't know how well they work, but we don't have any in loaner.
Okay. Do you have one, Britton?
I do not. We are a new school and we pretty much have your basics. This is our first year of being open, so we don't have much.
Well, and Vernier and Pasco, I think, make pretty cheap spectrophotometers, at least yeah, we used a Pasco one, I think. That it I think it Bluetooth connects to phones. So that might be a good way to go. We'll see if I can find that.
I think there's also cheap colorimeters or something. I know Mark uses some of them in chemistry, like Vernier colorimeters that measure certain wavelengths, but not all wavelengths. I don't know which specifically, but.
And I have another question, and I feel like I'm being one of those really bonehead students.
No.
Yeah, I do. So I have I filled out my survey, I filled out the implementation plan, and I signed up for a time. What else do I need to complete tonight?
That's it. Those are the three things.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I have your agreement. So those were the things on the agreement, like attending the sessions, either live or on your own time, and then just kind of committing to doing these things. If life comes up, and things need to be replanned or something like that, that's okay. But it's a commitment to try to make these things happen, and then we can get you your stuff sent out and your stipend. The stipend is a little bit of a reimbursement personally to you. It doesn't go to your school for your time. You've spent time after hours. So it's not, it doesn't go to your school. It goes to you, and it's to spend as you want. Somebody had asked, is it allotted for already that has to be spent on school supplies, or no, it doesn't. So if you guys have done all of those things and you don't have any other questions that you want to ask or listen in, there's not a whole lot of conversation going on in this one. So if you're ready to hop off, you're welcome to do so. And we really appreciate you completing the survey too, to give us some feedback. And if there's something else you want to relay to us that's not on the survey, just shoot an email, or you can tell your master instructors if you'd rather do that. But we're really happy that you guys were able to join. I know that the sign up time was really quick and this turnaround happened really quickly. So we're glad you were able to fit it into your schedules. Bye, thank you. I'll stay on.